conspiracy sees all.
Hi everyone, thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you're all enjoying the holidays. Apollo 11 transcripts. Thank you, David White. I have to mention it. Patrice Lavoie, also thank you for the generous contribution. If you're watching here, Patrice, merci beaucoup. I will be adding your name to the video list of contributors, bro. Thank you so much. Apollo 11 transcripts. Let's get right to it. The conspiracy where is it true? Thank you so much, David, for showing me this video. I knew there was a part in the transcript, but I so wanted to get the proof of it. So here it is, the Apollo 11 transcript. Now this, you have to find it, right? Because there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of words and sentences in the transcripts over these several days they supposedly went to the moon. Here we go, Apollo 11. Those are giant things. No, no, no. This is not an optical illusion. No one is going to believe this. So I'm going to be reading from the transcript of the astronauts Aldrin and Buzz talking to Houston from the surface of the moon, supposedly, after seeing UFOs on the surface of the moon. Now, no matter what you hear or read or see that is proof or not, online, confirmed or not, remain open-minded. I did mention, I believe, that they did not go to the moon, so bear with me while we go through these transcripts. You'll see it's pretty interesting. Now, hear me out. Take absolutely everything into consideration. I know I told you I don't really think they went to the moon. It's not because I'm thinking it. It's because I saw that they didn't. Okay? There's a lot of information that's going to come out from many people on the net. I have no idea. I'm not going to be the one to, grab leaked videos and ship them out here and there. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to show you my research, but just keep in mind that it could be just that if they didn't go, and that this transcript that I'm going to read, it could be fake also. But I'm just going to read the conspiracy transcript, Apollo 11. Here we go. Those are giant things. No, no, no. This is not an optical illusion. No one is going to believe this. What? Says NASA. What? What? What the hell is happening? What's wrong with you? Question marks, question marks, question marks. Apollo 11. They're here under the surface. NASA replies. What's there? Muffled noises all around you can hear in the transmissions. Emission interrupted also. An interference control calling Apollo 11 comes onto the air. Apollo 11 responds, we saw some visitors. They were here for a while observing the instruments. NASA says, repeat your last information. 11 answers, I say that there were other spaceships. They're lined up in the other side of the crater. Apollo 11, let us sound this orbita and 625, the 5 automatically relay connected. My hands are shaking so badly. This is Apollo 11 speaking. I can't do anything. Film it? God, if these damn cameras have picked up anything, what then? NASA replies, have you picked up anything? Apollo 11, I didn't have any film at hand. These shots of the saucers, or whatever they were, that were ruining the film. Or whatever they were that were ruining the film. NASA responds, control here. Are you on your way? What is your uproar with the UFOs? Over. Apollo 11, they're landed there. There they are, and they are watching us. NASA responds, the mirrors, have you set them up? Apollo 11, yes, they're in the right place, but whoever made those spaceships surely can come tomorrow and remove them. Over and out. So, let's see if you guys get this straight. They couldn't have gone to the moon the way they told us they did. So if they did, it was done in secrecy, right? So all this conspiracy about them talking about, oh, look, this is on the moon, this is on the moon. I find it odd that this transcript would exist if they wouldn't have gone. So I'm not hiding that. You see how there's a lot of things to try to sort out, to understand, right? But who says that they weren't just saying that to, the space race for Russia, so that Russia would believe that they had really landed, on the surface of the moon? If you look up the information, it is said that each and every Apollo mission, every single one of them, supposed landing, every astronaut that was there perceived flashes of lights. This is a known fact. Also, it is said that those flashes of light could be seen through their eyes, even the eyelids closed, like a fusion, right? Like I often speak about those flashing lights and that fusioning on the surface. So this is was spoken uh, to NASA from the astronauts, and we've seen this in transcripts, and now in many videos coming out everywhere that they saw these flashes of lights on the surface. It was said that the cosmic rays were what were the cause of the flashing lights that we're seeing. They thought maybe that it was internally the problem, that the radiation interacting with the brain was causing these lights to be seen even when the eyelids were closed. Well, anyways, to make a long story short, these lights that I'm showing you, it's not because of my brain. They're UFOs landing on the surface of the moon. So they said it was the optic nerve, right? That the radiation was interacting with the brain and that was causing us to see, well, us, the astronauts, to see cosmic rays. This is just an interesting part I wanted to share. Maybe some of you didn't know it. So some of the astronauts were really upset because during the Apollo mission, supposedly, they had to wear a black box on their head and they wouldn't be able to see anything while they were in deep space, of course. And yeah, I guess the box was for them not to see other UFOs, but either way, it came to the conclusion that they were seeing cosmic rays. But this is besides something else, right? Like what we're seeing on the surface again are real UFOs. And the lights that are lighting up on the surface are just exceptional and showing us signs of atmosphere much higher, definitely higher than what they said they were. Here's something lifting up off the surface in the shadow. I really love this because at the end of it, it becomes a fire, a lit light source that's coming towards us now. Here it is. It's lighting up the entire sky. It's on the eastern side of the moon because the moon's veered around. Just, something absolutely exceptional to see. So I just wanted to share a few facts in this video with, about the transcripts and about where they talked about towers. Let's go see if they talked about objects on the surface of the moon. I wonder. Well, for starters, before talking about towers on the moon, Major Gordon Cooper, I'm going to go through a few names of some supposedly important figures of astronauts, pilots, military, NASA that declared having seen UFOs on the surface. And this is confirmed information. Major Gordon Cooper, there's Donald Slayton, Robert White. Many of you are going to recognize these names. Joseph A. Walker, Eugene Cernan. Too much information to go through. I'm just giving out the names. Ed White and James McDivitt. All pilots, right? James Lavelle and Frank Borman. All right. Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin. The list goes on. Maurice Chatelain. Scott Carpenter. So all these astronauts supposedly declared after having kept in secrecy for having not mentioned having seen UFOs on the surface. It's a very active surface. So whether they landed or not, whether they were just hovering over the moon, they were still very capable of seeing the flashing lights and what was going on. So that lunar wave, we're talking about seeing protons. Wow, it could be cosmic rays, right? Some of the flashes of light. So it's interesting. I'm throwing that in there just to jumble things up even more. Because telescopes are picking up things in space that they're not necessarily talking about. Isn't this one incredible? The UFO going into the moon's atmosphere. I can't express it being anything else. This is, right? We're just looking at objects. We don't know what they are. So always that blinding light, perfect camouflage, right? Always hiding, these objects on the surface. But if it gets even scarier when you say, are these objects alive? Like, are we looking at massive light creatures? It would be pretty interesting. I'm always shooting theories out there, my friends. It's important to keep the mind open. We talk about, what Crow 777 got, and I was able to capture even a couple of times. Not as good as his, but a good thing that he got his. But let me tell you that they're talking about more and more of it being solar winds, right? So the flux of incoming cosmic rays at the upper atmosphere is said to be dependent on the solar winds. So the Earth's supposed magnetic field and the energy of the cosmic rays. Okay, so now you're following me? The sun, the solar wind, undergoes a transition called termination shock. I'm just throwing that out there. So that lunar wave that we're seeing, and even the one I caught, could be a termination shock, which means the solar winds and cosmic rays are going to go from supersonic speeds, and they're going to be reduced down to subsonic speeds at the shock termination, which is at the end, right? It enters our atmosphere, and this is what we could possibly be seeing when we see a lunar wave on the moon's surface. They're mentioning it could be also the protons that we're seeing, the solar wind interacting with particles. Hey, who knows? Well, there now really is a part of the world, many people now, that know a part of the truth of what's on the surface. Some of us really want to know more and more, and more, but you gotta appreciate realizing that, hey, life exists out there, outside of this world, our own world, and some people will never ever come to that understanding. And if you are at that understanding, that means you've evolved, okay? And that's a good thing, right? But you're going to feel very alone in life, because those who evolve are often alone in their own world. To understand exactly what is going on up there on the moon, you have to see it for yourself. How is the world going to be impressed or even appreciate the real truth once we find it out, if we're not even appreciating, these beautiful findings? And I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about, the ones that just disbelieve. Impact glass. Want to see it for yourself? They're Moldavites, Tektites, ancient times, and even today. This is a very, very powerful rock. Moldavites, Abundance, a commercial. Etsy.com. Go look for yourself.
Aliens are the moon. Aliens are the moon. And they're mining. Really up there. And they're mining on the moon. Aliens are the moon. Aliens are the moon. There's fire. Really up there. And they're mining on the moon. Aliens are the moon. Aliens are the moon. And they may be coming soon.
This is Houston. Say again, please.